Hi there, this is a 13-metre boat from Ultimate Boats. We are lucky enough at Park Homes Boat Sales to actually be the dealer, the UK dealer for Ultimate Boats. They're built up in Scotland, so they're a UK-based company, and we're going to show you a full walkthrough tour on this Offshore class boat from Ultimate Boats. They do several different models in the range, and we'll talk about that as we do the full walkthrough tour right here, right now. So stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hi there, well I'm Jonathan Parker from Park Homes Boat Sales. I'm going to do the full walkthrough tour on this Ultimate boat just in a sec, but I just wanted to talk about the models. Now, Ultimate Boats do several different models. They do this 13-metre offshore class. They also do, though, at the bottom of the range, they do a 7.5-metre professional class, and they also do an 11-metre as well, where you can have the option of outboards as well on the back. So do an 11-metre, a 13, and the 7.5 at the moment, but every model is bespoke. So actually here at Hamble Point Marina, we're lucky enough to have Broadsword, which is a 7.5-metre Ultimate boat, open rib, as you can see here. It's got several SHOX seats, and this boat actually is capable of having up to 13 people on it. For a 7.5-metre boat, it's actually very, very special boat indeed. And we also have here as well, which the police are currently using, is a boat called Hunter, and it's 11-metre offshore class as well, and it has twin 350 outboards on the back. But what is special about the Ultimate boats is there's two main things. It's actually the hull design. So the hull design is designed by John Moxham, and it is a specially designed hull which gives the boat natural lift when you're accelerating. So we do not need trim tabs, there's very little bow lift, and it also is very, very good in hard turns because of this. It's a very special hull and you need to experience it to really appreciate it. So much so that also their Ultimate boats do a tactical class boat. There's one based down in Poole. A lot of Ultimate boats are now going into the military, the police service, but also in the commercial sector as well. So they're a very special boat, but we're trying to bring them to the fore really for pleasure boat users, because they're such great hulls. They're a very, very capable boat. So you need to sort of take your families out in these as well, because there's such great boats in a choppy sea, and the Solent can be very much like that down on the south coast. So really appreciate the hull design and the performance of these boats. But let's start showing you around this, because the other thing I want to show you, I can't show you the hull because it's in the water. I want to show you these sponsons as well. So these aren't inflatable, they look like tubes. Let me step off. So even at the back they look like inflatable tubes, but they're actually made of dense foam layers, and then they're coated in a special coating. Now the coating on these is a couple of mil of rubber, and then it has a weave in between, which the current models have a Kevlar weave, and then another coating of rubber over the top, and it gives you this textured finish, which is a natural non-slip finish, but it does have some give, but it's also hard as nails. So it's very hard to penetrate this. It's very hard to damage it. If you hit a pontoon, you're more likely to damage the pontoon than you are these sponsons. And because they are made, they're not inflatable, they're not circular, they're actually D-shaped. So what it gives you is a lot more deck space inside, but also the protection that you would normally have from a rib. And these sponsons run all the way around the boat. And so much so that a lot of the time you don't even need to put fenders out. So you're really putting fenders out to protect the pontoon from getting damage from them. So it's very rare we put fenders out on this boat, but you can do if you want to. But very easy to get on. As I say, this is non-slip, so there's no way you can slip on this. You can walk away around the edge because it's non-slip as well. So I'll demonstrate that. So it looks very narrow, but actually it's very grippy. Look, I can go right to the edge and not slip off. So it's very easy, and you can step then up onto the bow. Now this has synthetic teak on the bow, but also in the cockpit area. And what I also like, though, it has cleat positions, which you don't get on inflatable tubes either, along the side. So you've got a cleat here, and we've also got an electric windlass up the front, which of course can be controlled from the bow. And you can see it's a Wheelhouse designed boat, so it has this forward-facing windscreen, which actually, because it's an offshore class, it really gives you great protection from heavy seas. So if heavy seas comes up, it comes down onto the roof and not onto the screen. which gives it that real offshore class. Also, it's got the enclosed bow, so if you do get any water over onto the bow, it disperses straight away and it doesn't fill up any walkways, because we don't have them on here. What we do have though is an opening hatch on the front. It's an electrical opening hatch, so you can actually open and shut it from the front, and you can also access onto the front through this hatch as well. So it has two uses. Also up on here, there's a spotlight on the front. There's two actually. There's one that you can move around, and there's a fixed one as well to light up the deck. And if we walk back round again, up on the roof here, there are actually some glass windows to give you extra light into the cabin area, and another electric roof opening as well. We also have these solar panelled fans, which naturally are working all the time during the daytime, so it's constantly ventilating the wheelhouse area. There's two of them, one in the heads and then one here, because this does have heads as well, which we'll show you in a minute. And we've also got a tannoy system on the top there, so you can, it's a loudspeaker. Also, we've got the quantum radar as well, so this is a good Raymarine navigation suite. And of course on here as well, we also have the GPS and lights as well. And this does have AIS as well. But actually getting down, there's two steps to get down into the cockpit area, so nice and easy. And there's grab handles as well. And then we have a large area which covers the two big Yanmar 8LV engines. They're 370 horsepower each. They'll give the boat a good performance up to around 38 knots. So your cruising speed can be around 30 knots. Very well laid out, very easy to get around everywhere. And these are actually V8 diesel engines. Very economical for the size they are. Very powerful as well. This actually plane goes straight up on the plane because of the design of the hull and the power of the engines. Now what the hull does, instead of the bow rising and then coming up onto the plane, because of the design of the hull, it has a natural a lift. So instead of doing this, it does this. So you negate the need for trim tabs, and it also helps, you don't have a lag when getting up onto the plane like you would normally do if you're trying to push a boat onto the plane of this size. It just gets rid of that. You need to experience it. It's a fantastic boat. And in rough seas as well, it outperforms anything that I've ever been on in my life. It really is. It's almost, you want to go out in rough weather because it is so much fun in rough weather. Absolutely fantastic. This boat's coded, so it's currently coded up to 12 people. It has all the equipment on board for that as well, including a life raft, which you can see is mounted onto the back bathing platform. So it has a small bathing platform on the back. So it's very easy to get on and off the back as well. And you've got the twin stern drives. So remember, this is Yanmar engines on the stern drives. And I do like the fact it's got these Samson posts, nice solid Samson posts, as well as additional cleats as well. So there's lots of positioning. So you can actually set up a bridle and do towing with this as well if you would need to. You can actually have a frame fitted on the back of here as well, or a handrail. You can actually have a frame fitted with seating if you want to, which is one of the designs of this boat. It's been removed for the use that it's having at the moment, or you can just have a handrail, and this would actually then make a very nice seating area. And let me step back down, and then we'll come in just under the wheelhouse. It says a nice little bit of shade here, but you start to see its sort of commercial sort of capability when you start looking at things like the door. So this is a proper thick, solid, multi-latching door, completely watertight. Into the cockpit area, you've got big free running water to go straight out the side, so if any water does get in here, it goes straight out. And then there's a little seating area here and your fuel fillers. This actually has 3 fuel tanks, so 3 500 litre fuel tanks, and you can switch between them quite easily on the fuel switching design, which is just behind this metal panel. So just under here, there's actually the taps for doing that. And you can actually switch between the 3 tanks as and when you need to. Very, very easy. The water fills there, and there's a manual bilge pump as well as a pull for a fire extinguisher as well. This does have deck lighting as well, so it has subtle deck lighting all the way around, so it has mood lighting in this area. And then we'll show you into the main wheelhouse. Now this is designed for passengers, but also comfort as well. So what we have when we come into here, there's actually a small galley. So we've got the galley surface. We've got a Wallace diesel-fired hob. So this uses a diesel burner, so there's no gas on board. And it heats up the two plates quite nicely, controlled by here. There's also a fridge, and I think it's got a freezer compartment. Yep, fridge with freezer compartment. It's on at the moment, so it's nice and cold. And then we've got a storage drawer. We can put cutlery in and things like that. And then there's a few shelves for storage. There's cups stored there at the moment, as well as some accessories and some of the coding equipment. And then we're into the wheelhouse. And this is when you really start to feel the size of this boat. This is actually fitted with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 SHOX seats. This does have the capability of adding 4 more as well. So you can have up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 SHOX seats in here if you wish. Or you can make use of this extra space by putting maybe a couple of bench seats, making a bit more comfort in here as well. Because this really lends itself to different design. Now, ultimate boats are very bespoke. So if you didn't want all these SHOX seats and you wanted a couple of bench seats or maybe a sofa bed or something like that in here, you could do that. You could refit it to your own design as well. But as it's laid out for travelling in comfort as well as a very capable boat. The SHOX seats are they're a very high-end seat. They're called SHOX seats because they are individually have gas struts on them. So when you're going along and you hit the waves, then they will bounce up and down with you. Very, very comfortable. And you can see this great visibility all the way around. When you come into the helm position, I've driven this boat quite a few times now. It's a very comfortable position, a nice footrest here. You can adjust the steering wheel to where you want it to be, but great visibility. This also has a bow thruster as well as the electronic controls for the engines. And this actually has electrically assisted steering. So this uses a Optimus system, which has individual motors for each stern drive. And what that enables you is very, very light steering all of the time, and very reliable steering as well. It allows you to adjust the turning circle of the steering wheel, so you can reduce the amount of turns on the steering wheel if you want to. If you find you're turning too much, you can reduce that, so it's very adaptable as well. The Optimus system does also have the capability of adding a joystick system as well. So if you wanted to, at a later stage, you could add a joystick system to this, because the stern drives are already set up with individual motors, so they have the capability with the added system of actually using the joystick control as well. What I love about this though is the engine controls have digital displays which show your fuel tank levels, but also all the engine data on here as well as we've got 2 12-inch Raymarine hybrid touch chart plotters, and then an additional third one over there, so the passenger can also have a look at everything. You can see we've got a camera on that one, so there's a rear-facing camera, which is really good for mooring up. And then we can chart plotter, and then we can have radar as well if we want on here. It also has AIS as well, and it also has a fish finder also, so it has a really good navigation suite. We've got wireless charger here, and also windscreen demisters for when the diesel heating is on, because this also has diesel heating in addition. I like the way these are all etched, so these aren't stuck on or written on, these are all etched in. So all the controls are etched in, very easy to read, and very nice feeling switches. Of course we have a Raymarine VHF as well, and the engine controls are just turned on and on just by start-stop buttons just here, and the bow thruster is there as well. So even though this boat doesn't necessarily need trim tabs for getting up on the plane, it does have them fitted for performance purposes. And of course, if you're in a very strong side winds, the boat may still lean one way or the other. So this also has a Zipwake system fitted. So they're very high performance trim tabs, and very reactive. They can set them on automatic and they'll just sort themselves out. But very, very good addition again to this boat. And the other thing as well is we also have individual windscreen wipers. They're actually controlled on a panel here, and I actually really like this design. They're ex-alto wiper control, but you can turn them on individually. You can also have different speeds. There's actually 6 different speeds of wiper you can have on here, which is really good and very active. So if you just want to use a couple of them, or you want to do it quickly or slowly, you can really adapt each one. But they do go in sync as well. So when you do turn another one, it will automatically sync in with the other. So it's very clever. So when Ultimate Boat built this, they fitted these fans as well. So they're quite interesting, but they do work. So they do turn and they do work, but they give you an extra bit of ventilation in here. It just circulates the air. So actually, I quite like them, even though they don't quite suit the high-end commercial side. You think they look a bit more rugged, but they are quite good fun. The spotlight's controlled up here, and these actually control the 2 hatches. So if you have a look on the at the front one, I think that's the one. Yeah, if we close it, you can see the electrically open and close just on a touch. So you just press it and it will close all the way down. That's it. And then the same opening. So very easy to use. The one above the head as well is easy to use. And also there's lots of grab rails. So the grab rail runs all the way along, so you can have standing passengers as well. We've actually had 9 or 10 people on here going over to Cowes, and very, very comfortable. It was quite a rough day actually. We've done a short drone video of this boat as well when we went over on that trip, and it's quite rough off of Cowshot, and we had people standing around and they didn't even notice. When we got to Cowes, they didn't even notice we were in rough weather because the ride is so good. This also has, though, because it's got the enclosed bow, it has a cabin up the front. As we come into here, and you can see it's quite a large sleeping area as well. So as some of you may know, I'm 6 foot tall, but I reckon if I was 8 foot tall, I could easily sleep in here as well. So it would actually lend sleeping probably for 3 people, because you could have one each side here, and then if I go sideways, you can have another one here as well. Like I say, I'm 6 foot, so this is actually sleeping for up to 3. Also, you can sit around here as well, because you can sit up in here. And it's quite cool down here, so it is hot. A hot day is quite cool, especially with the hatch open. There's 240 electrical points all around, because it does have a battery charger as well built in. Your access to all your electrics is actually behind these 2 panels, and there's a lot of storage space capability in there as well. I'll just open this one up. There we go. And if you just have a look in, so you've got all your trip switches, all your electrical items, your batteries on this side, as well as you kind of have a repeat of that this side as well for the other electrics as well. Your electrical switches are here. So there's 4 battery switches, and then 1 for the windlass as well. So all in all, it's very well laid out. You can get at everything as well. And you can see all the synthetic teak runs all the way through. There's a little lift up hatch here so you can access bilge pumps. And then the hatches in the floor to access the top of the fuel tanks. So you really have everything you kind of need to get access to, very easy to hand, which is kind of what you want on a commercial. But what I love about this is that if I was to take friends out on a boat, so we've got lots of boats here. We've got an Axopar 28, we've got a Fairline Phantom 42, which is my own boat. My business partner's got a Fairline Tiger 44. But if we just wanted to get around the Solent with a group of friends, no matter what the weather, we take this, because this is brilliant for that. There's so much space on here, we can entertain, and also it has a head as well. So it has an electric flushing toilet with a holding tank. It also does have a shower capability as well. There is a shower built into here. And also sink as well. So this does have hot and cold water. So there's a calorifier in the engine bay as well, so we can heat that up with the engines, also with electric as well. And these are frosted windows, so you don't have to worry about your privacy. You cannot see into here. Ventilated and lit as well. There's also lots of coat hooks in here, so you do have wet weather gear. You can hang them up in here as well. So this ultimate boat is a very special boat. I love it. I think it's the most capable boat I've ever driven. So if you want to see more about it, come and look at our website, parker-adams.co.uk. Link into the new boat section, which will list the 3 ultimate boats we currently have for sale, which is this one, broadsword, which is a 7.5 open rib. And then we also have an 11-metre offshore with twin 350 outboards. Again, that is a walk-round wheelhouse on that one. Very special boat again, a one-off done from Ultimate Boats. So come and see that. And there's also a link to Ultimate Boats website, so you can see all the model ranges and what they do. So please come and see us. Look on our website if you want to know how much this boat is. We'll put some links in the description down below for Ultimate Boats and such like, and our other models. So please subscribe to our channel and tune in for the next video right here very soon. Thank you.